Right, welcome back to Delusion. I may spun around a bit whilst I was looking for my phone. Let's talk to this guy. Keep an eye on the Neuron Star, friend. It's got a 12-hour pulse cycle, and most of the shops close when it's dark. If you're used to the longer days and nights of some mainland Union countries, you may find it strange. Let me tell you, Neuron Stars. Well, I don't know where you're from, but many people live their whole lives in the cycle of a single neuron star, believing all days and nights to be the same. But the world is wrapped in a blanket of interconnected neuron stars. Each one is different, but they all travel in regular movements, and pulse brighter at certain times. Aloshire's star circles all the surrounding islands every 12 hours. It pulses brightest at noon and shrinks to the darker at night. People here will sleep more often and for less time than a place with a longer cycle. Of course, there are some places so far from a neuron star they're trapped in perpetual night, and others where a single day can last for hundreds of hours. What happens at night around here? Well, at night the shops are shut in town and most locals sleep. You may find out in the countryside there are other things that may only occur at certain times too. Ooh. They're using the save point because it's been some time since we've used one. Welcome to the Wobbly Noggin. If you're in need of a rest, we have beds and ale aplenty. I'm looking for someone. Oh, and who might that be? What do you know of Villa Clues? Well, what kind of innkeep do you take me for? I've heard more stories about Vela than I can recount. Her Dark Star mercenaries fought in the Sleevey Mutiny, the Battle of Weeping Wizards, and both sides of the Wiccan Uprising of Hawkney. They've taken coin from Reaving councillors and occultist villagers alike. Leans on the bar. And when folk ain't spilling each other's blood, they've gone a plundering. Imbrian ruins, Wiccan shrines, and you know the tomb of the deathless Dynast king? That was them that stole his face. He leans in so close you can smell his breath. Some folk say she's a saint, who's gonna right the wrongs of the Union. Others say she's a devil, who leaves a path of chaos in her wake. But you know what? She were here once, 2 years ago, for her and a load of her crew. They kicked everyone else out. Must have been 50 of the sods, getting pissed as skyfish. And I saw she weren't no saint. She weren't no devil. She were completely shit-faced. I did warn her about the typhus rum. We made more coin that night than most weeks, I reckon. Actually, I had other questions. Of course, what you wanting? Looking for someone. Ask you some questions. Talk is free, friend. Do you have any work going? I've heard Vernon Birtwick's looking for adventurers. Not sure what he's after, but he's the richest man in town, so I dare say it's worth a punt. Go to the Winged Merchants Guild on the main road if you're interested. Stop attacking me out of it. Conversations. I have some questions. You know about hello. Well, most of us simple farmers. Folk have been around here since the world rent, making ends meet. After the God War, we joined the Epicenic Union, and they mostly left us to our own business until recently. The Union has seen fit to make more direct hand in our affairs. See, they claim our crops grow with illegal god magic. That organized cultism runs rife, and in trying to stomp that out, they've started goddamn famine. Most of us are thinking we're better off without the damned Union, frankly. Do you stop hanging up at me? I would like to rent a room. The Skull Suite's vacant. It's yours for 2 coins. I'll take it. Thank you. It's just at the stairs there. Look for a wall. Look for the wall of bone. You can't miss it. Ominous. You're too drunk. You look like the person I'm probably here to see. So we'll come back to you shortly. It's not a bad Ah, really? Calling all denizens of the Passaic Union. Our land is beset with the most terrible famine. Can you sit idle while your crops fail and your loved ones perish? We all know who's to blame. The God worshipper, the cultist. For too long, they've uttered their dread prayers from the fringes of society, bringing terrible omens upon our lands. Our polymath humbly requests the aid of every denizen in this matter. Visit the Passaic Union's council building in the center of town to inquire further. To be sold, Thornwood Manor. A 200-year-old once stately and fine. 200-year manor once stately and fine has fallen to disrepair. The manor grounds comprise an entire island just to the south of Hallowshire. With the right investor, this could be a thriving estate once more. For inquiries, visit the clerk in Hello Town Council. We can buy our own island! Exciting. What is this? We'll come back to that at some point. Play lockpick. We're not going to use that yet. Yeah. Recollections from the God War by Juliana Liddell, 1412. Before our airship rose a writhing mass of flesh, taller than any tree, any structure, any living thing. It filled the horizon with its ghastly form. A hand rose to thwart us, or should I say, many hands, for the thing's flesh bubbled and boiled with minute approximations of the whole. Its arm was made from many arms, its screaming face had countless gaping mouths. The captain's voice bellowed across the deck. Being no Navy woman, I cannot recount those orders, but the ship began to lurch to the side. A futile attempt at evasion. With an almighty crash, I was flung against the ship's bow. We spun in freefall. Through splinters and dust, I could see the other half of the ship. We'd been split in twain, and the ground was rushing to meet us. The ship exploded with fragments as it struck land, and I did not feel the impact. I levitated just inches from the wreckage, a glow encircling me. I could see the hand of an erudite academy scholar buried in the rubble. It twitched, the glow flickered, and I fell safely to the ground. I know not who saved my life in place of their own, but I think of them often. The creature towered above me, staring with many eyes, howling with many mouths. These were the closing months of the God War, and the Wiccans had become desperate. Faced with their annihilation, they had embraced practices that had long been forbidden. Whatever lurched towards me, it once been a god, though it could not be called that anymore. As it raised its arms to strike me, the bulk blocked the light of the neuron star. Against my better judgment, against the very ideology to which I had committed myself, I uttered a prayer to my family's patron god, a god I had seen cut to pieces not a month before. Who knows? Maybe some vestigial remnant of that god yet remained and took pity on me? A hideous noise erupted from the monster. Its flesh had always shifted in some eldritch pattern, but now it appeared to flow like liquid. Huge chunks of it began to drop to the ground, exposing glimpses of a skeleton. Whatever spell the Wiccans had cast, whatever power flowed through the entity, it was failing. At that moment, our sister ship burst from the clouds at blistering speed. A dozen cannons erupted into fire, and the creature rippled with explosions. A void stone lance, itself the size of a small vessel, was flung directly into the monster's skull. The thing buckled and bent under its own weight. It appeared to be melting. The skin tore around its neck, and its head bent back in an unnatural way, eventually dropping to the ground. I would later discover that it crushed a nearby pub. After a few moments, all appeared to be left was a steaming mound of flesh and bone. A slight typo there at the end. We have learnt about a book. Let's go and read the other one so I can say they're done. be my room for the night, I guess. Right. A Guide to the Ionic Isles by Niccolo Lopo, 1442. It was a sweltering day in Riovia when my editor burst to the door. The twin stars of Vena were dancing high that day, bathing the city in a searing yellow haze. Niccolo! He yelled, after nearly dislodging my front door from its hinges. The impact of his entry had caused my house to sway, suspended as it was, like all houses in Riova, from the interconnected web of pulleys, cables, and bridges that kept the city aloft. You are going to the Ionic Isles, he declared. Your ship leaves tomorrow. I must confess, I was taken aback. The periodical I wrote for, The Weekly Whale, was mostly concerned with the petty dramas of Riovia's wealthy elite, and little penchant for travel memoir. But then, the proliferation of cipher-based periodicals with their self-updating calligraphy was making my editor nervous. He had clearly decided that sending me to the arse end of nowhere, to my certain demise, would titillate our readership and bring in some coin. Some citizens know of the Ionic Isles only from fairy tales. It is a small archipelago of little political import, drifting around the southernmost edge of the Episaic Union's borders. While its central region of Hallowshire saw fierce fighting during the God War, it has only recently been absorbed into the Episaic Union's territorial sphere. What both excited my editor and perturbed myself was the inarguable wildness of these strange islands. They are illuminated by a single neutron star, which orbits close to the islands, dousing them in magenta light. The Wiccan coven of the Worm has long squirmed in the dark races of Hallowshire, and has caused nothing but trouble for the Union forces stationed there. Similarly, the historic lawlessness of that place has made it a dark haven for smugglers, pirates, and brigands alike. Meanwhile, beyond the Union's territory lies even stranger islands. The archipelago's western edges are home to the notorious Endless, who feature many whispered old wives' tales that have rarely been glimpsed by mortal eyes. The Eastern Isles, mind you, are very different. The realm of Cordova, which famously declined to enter the Episaic Union's Commonwealth after the God War, has been found there. Its exact relocation cannot be dated, as it is so often the case with islands drifting unrecorded through the sky realms. But the strange, complex machines that are being constructed there have caught the attention of many of the Union scholars and etherists. To travel to such a place, then, was a folly of the highest order. Indeed, I would have turned down the venture in an instant, were I not facing imminent bankruptcy. So, with heavy heart, I accepted and began to pack my things. These volumes, originally published in my column in the Weekly Whale, recount my foolhardy adventure into the strange and dangerous Ionic Isles. There we go. Alright, before we do anything else, let's try talking to the guy. We appear to have an armada back, which is interesting. Okay, let's talk to this guy because he is one of the people we're here to see. The man drums his fingers on the table as his eyes dart around. He does not look at you as he speaks. Be gone with you, I'm waiting for someone. Person's me, I'm with the Inquisition. His eyes stand towards you. So you're the agent. I must admit, I expected someone a little more inquisitorial. Looks can be deceiving. Squid shit! I can see the marks on your wrists from the shackles. You're a confessor, aren't you? Little more than a prisoner. Those bastards, they mean to insult me by sending one of their expendable rabble. They've hunted me for years, and now they don't even deign to send an agent. At least, not to my face. So out with it, confessor. Has she found it yet? Is it alive? So who found it? Vela, you inebriated fool. Who else would I be speaking of? They really haven't told you anything, have they? I may as well be speaking to a silk slug. Do you at least know where Vela is? He escaped in a sloop. Sounds about right. She must have gone to the Underlands to rendezvous with any Darkstars that are still loyal. Of course, the question is where. The Underlands are so far larger than the Sky Realms. She could be anywhere. Ah, the Underlands. Surely you jest. What are the Underlands? Will you ask about the Neuron Stars next? Oh really, what are the Underlands? They are the lands that are under the Sky Realms. Did they extract your mind of the hook in that cell? When the world was destroyed and in the world rend, over 400 years ago now, the surface was turned into an inhospitable hellscape. Those lands are the Underlands. How do you know Vella's gone there? She hunts something there. She has done for years, something of terrible power. I can't tell you exactly what it is, only that she plans to use it to meddle with reality itself, which could be the doom of us all. So you'll help me find Vella. That's the deal that struck with the Inquisition, isn't it? Hunt my former comrade and my Darkstar crewmates? Well, the Polymath's pardon. After this, I'll be a traitor to everyone. Well then, Confessor, we may as well get to know each other. What did you do before rotting in a cell? As a politician. I must say I have no love for those who hide behind petty arguments and legal nonsense. I've been to Rio many times. More times than I care for, and each time I'd rather have been in a den of drunken brigands. Anyway, doesn't matter now, eh? You've lost it all. Hit rock bottom. That's something I can respect. As for myself, my name is Jack Basalt. I suppose you've heard of me. I've not heard of you, no. Well, I guess not everyone's heard of the stories, eh? For a time, I was the most respected captain in the Union Navy. I took orders directly from Admiral Kalus, Vella's father, and for 5 years I trained Vella aboard my ship. When Vella defied her father and fled to become a mercenary, I followed. I gave up my rank, my station, my ship, to spend my years cavorting with Wiccans and pirates. Shame of the Union Navy, they branded me. But I kept her safe. Was that not also my duty? You train Vella? Aye, Vella and the Embryon. Though they'd been skilled at the academy, their father wanted them to sling their hammocks and tie their knots like regular sea dogs. And so they did. Through blizzards, cypher storms, and cannon volleys, those sisters thrived until the Delusion massacre. I won't speak of that here, not here, but that was the day Vella decided to leave the Navy, and her father. That was the day we became mercenaries. So why are you hunting her? You have to understand, I love that girl like she's my own. I've seen her grow from a headstrong child into a fierce captain, and there was a time when we were sailing together as Darkstars, when I thought she might be the greatest of them all. So to hear her fall into barbarism and villainy has been hard. I can't abide by what she's done, or by what she will do. She seeks to save us, but she will likely doom us. So I have to stop her, you see, for her own sake. Right, so how do we find Vella? Ah, you're asking me? As into your masters, I can provide naught but shreds of information. You'll have to do the rest. What I have for you is 3 names. Names of former Darkstar mercenaries who have left Vella's crew after the mutiny. Together, maybe a lot of us can track her down. What's this about a mutiny? A few years back, Vella found a map that pointed to something impossible. She'd use it to make a heaven of the Skyrim, she said. Change the fabric of reality so folk don't know poverty, or injustice, or even death. I'm sure she believes it still, but for a lot of us Darkstars, it scared us witless. You just don't go meddling with things like that. Unless you want to die screaming. We tried to convince her to make her see reason, but she took us down into the Underlands anyway, on that mad pursuit. So we mutinied, and the Darkstars spilled their own blood on those skyships. In the end, Vella escaped with those loyal to her, and the rest of us scattered to lick our wounds. A wicked time that was. Tell me about these mercenaries. First, there's the Embryon. called that because folks say she's the last of her kind. Of course, that's pure squid shit. If she was Embryon, she'd be 400 years old. I've heard talk she's somewhere in Hellowshire. Which is already signposted because it was down the road. Next, there's the Endless Duchess, a powerful cipher wizard. She went back to her ancestral home in the Endless Realm, and like all those you'll find there, she's cursed to never truly die. Which means she's really is hundreds of years old. Finally, there's Caxton Frost, a genius of the Clockwork Kingdom. The man could engineer a skyship from a sack of junk. Last I heard, he'd returned to his homeland. Are you sure they'll help us? I'm sure they'll follow you to this. Sorry. Am I sure they'll follow you to their certain deaths? Of course not, you fool. They'll probably try and cut your head off. But, if you want to find Vela, you're just going to have to ask nicely. If they do agree. You lot must have captured Vela's fortress, the Blinding Light, correct? I heard the cannon fire from here. Tell you what, I'll head there myself after this little chat, and if you find any of those Dark Stars, send them there and all. He fixes you with a Grimstare, and that thing Vela's looking for, she mustn't use it. No one must ever use it, you hear me? If you've any sense, you'll make sure it stays buried down there. Right, I think we're done here. Okay, it's just the same. Cool. That's all. Right. I'll be at the Blinding Light. Oh, and we get to go to bed. Rest on. Rise and shine, dear Bruno. Right. Let's do some leveling up because we haven't done that. We have one in mind, which I haven't really been paying attention to. Guile, wisdom. Wisdom! We should have done that before you slept. Maybe, but whatever. It's happened now. Okay, so. And we did go up there. There was a lock we need to investigate later, but we can worry about that. We're going to be coming back, and this is going to be a hub for a bit, I suspect. Oh, he isn't. Oh, has he? Okay. So, we are now in Hellowshire. Hang on. Or to maybe once we get in here, we're going to be asked to we're going to be asked to do the thing. You know, that thing we always have to do is in record where we are. Idle peasants. I'll just be going. This used to be such a quiet place. Since Embassy Union stepped up its presence here, there are guards patrolling the streets night and day. Okay, so the important thing is that we've now reached the menu shot, because I think that was taken from approximately here. And that means we know we're at the main game. So, okay. Bright eyes shine from a washed face. You catch the girl's attention. Hey! You wouldn't mind helping a girl out, would you? What's the problem? You're sweat from a row. I've got to deliver these Bion silks to my guy in the wobbly noggin, but after liking these here, my own noggin's not doing too good. Ask around for Bardolph. He's usually in the small room. He's not got himself kicked out, she winks. So, we're getting to smuggle. Hold it! Never see your box. What do you got there? Is 6 bring on. Like I've not heard that one before. You know, the real problem with the smugglers in the cellar? A lot of illegal goods slipping through the net, so I'll ask you again, what's in the box? Alan Sooks, my friend, is a respected tailor, and the delivery is urgent. Alright, alright. I was gonna ask. After all, it's a lot of smugglers in Heller, you see? Carry on now. I don't recall... You. The man cracks you a thin yellow smile. Name's Bardolph. I don't think I know you, friend, so unless you got some business here, I'd suggest you trot on. I'll serve some Bayon Sooks to you. Ah, Inogen's newest recruit, eh? You should have said. Pries the box open, a cluster of tentacles bursts forward, and he slaps it shut again. Ah, fine silks indeed. We'll take these will make a lucky noble very comfortable. What was that thing? The expression saps into anger. You said yourself, friend, Bayon Silks. Anyway, there's a few coin for your troubles. Look, we're always in need of a folk like yourself. If you want more work, head down to the slums past the docks. Look for a bust of a skeleton in one of the houses. Give it a yank. It'll let you through the lost purse. Find Inogen them there, and she'll have more work for you. I'm a smuggler now. Ooh, we have a... Can't say no to modest treasure. And while we're at it, we will level up. What's on my mind? I need to go represent him again. Not because we're actually using it that much, but because this is what we had originally intended the character to do. Where does the water come from? Give me that game. Okay, so let's export and see what's here. So we've got a weapon store. The countryside is teeming with goblins and unsavory creatures. Only a fool ventures forward without a sharpened blade. Here at a fair blade, we have plenty for sale, and you can use our crafting station to modify your gear. Let's see what you have for sale. So we have the better version of the sword we've currently got. Iron ore, chainmail armor. Rusty sword, ammunition, iron ore. we cannot see all our treasures there. Gee, how much fine ore do we need? No, let's talk about it anyway. Have you heard of the Embryon? Heard of her? She's come to this air shop more than once. Scared me witless, I'll say. That stare and that armor. Something about it. I've been servicing equipment since I was a tyke, but I've never seen anything of that craftsmanship. She asked me to use the workbench last time. I saw her take off one of those pauldrons and tinker with it. It was full of the most intricate machinery, and she knew exactly what she was doing. If you ask me, the stories are true. She really is 400 years old. After all, those endless live forever, right? Who's to say the Embryons didn't figure it out too? Okay, so here. So we would need a bunch of final. Oh. How much final do we actually have? Becomes the question now. Got one final, we need 3. So it costs us so we need 2 to upgrade. We can't go up there, but let's do we'll basically circle back. I'm fairly certain we'd be able to do it for free. Too much hassle. Push comes to shove, so we'll look at doing that later. This is the tailor shop. Look at him being all tailor-esque. Welcome to the glorious garments. I can tell you're a customer of exemplary taste. I have a section of fine attires to choose from. If you're interested, I can also explain the specifics of tailoring. Have you heard of the Embryon? Ah, the Dark Star mercenary. I've not spoken with her myself, but I saw her stride past the shop front once. I swear, everyone on the street froze in their place, even the guards. Something about her stride and that armor. I'd not like to bump into her after dark, I'll tell you. Enough for sale. So, scruffy cap. Union Furnishings. This contract grants access to their specific Union Furnishings when redecorating a property. It is signed with the owner of the Glorious Garments in Hello Town, who will provide the items. Note that decorating any property usually costs a small fee. I think we should get a bunch of silk thread. Not that he cares. And then you go, alright, silk thread, but we don't need a scruffy cap because we have chainmail hat. What are you? From the other side. A guest? Welcome, welcome. Man plays his nostrils, he looks you up and down. I'd offer you a seat, but these chairs are incredibly expensive. I presume you are here about the job offering. What job is that? You mean you have somebody come to exchange pleasantries? Ugh. Anyway, yourself. Myself? Well, I'm sure you have already heard a great deal. I'm Vernon Berwick, the Winged Merchants Guild. Peruse. The shop's in Hello, and there's not a single potion or herb that has not graced my vessels on its way here. I'm here for the job. Yes, I thought as much. Your attire certainly suited the physical labor of the task. He dabs his forehead with a handkerchief as though the thought of your attire is overbearing. The job is to locate my merchant vessel, the Golden Typhus, and retrieve its cargo. It is a magnificent ship, made of the strongest Lundel oak. I cannot imagine it could have just been shipwrecked. Its captain was none other than Walter Cecil, who has charted many of the Episode most distant islands and is known for his character. Mutiny, then, is not a possibility. A course is plotted to the Hagthurian ruins, south of Hello. The typhus should have returned a week ago. I'm beginning to worry. The ship and the crew are irrelevant. Only the cargo matters. Return to me and I will reward you handsomely. Oh, the ship's captain. I hired Walter Cecil for the fee of a small fortune. His exploits have been well documented. It is said that when exploring distant realms, the ship defeated a sky god. Though between you and me, it was more likely a very large fish. Nonetheless, he's one of the most reliable captains in the Union. His record is impeccable. Okay, who's carrying? I'm afraid I simply cannot say. You understand that within the machinations of the Episcopal Union's legal system, there are certain trade goods that are unfairly scrutinized. Suffice it to say, there is nothing dangerous or unwholesome about the cargo, but we will speak of it no further. I'll let you know how to discover your ship. Farewell. You're a bit of an asshole. And you definitely have a basement with stuff on it. Yeah, we're just gonna stick a head in here. Let's imagine it's potion making. Welcome to the Bubbling Brew. We sell a wide array of useful items. From healing potions to alchemy ingredients, there's also an alchemy station in the corner. If you possess some alchemical ability, it's free to use, and I can assist with the process. Let me look at, oh, have you heard of the Amberine? Oh, I saw her once striding through the town like she owned the place. Now, I'm not saying all the stories are true, but there's certainly something strange about that one. She's never coming here. I've heard she's bought something from the Emporium of Oddities up by the end of the street. The one with the crystal spire. What can you tell me? Alchemy. Alchemy is the art of transmuting two base ingredients into something entirely new. All you need is an alchemy station to start the process. If it's the first time you're combining new ingredients, you'll have no idea what the result will be. It's best to experiment to find out new combinations. Some combinations are doomed to fail, but will produce a type of alchemical spirit. Those will still prove useful in other experiments. Take a look at where. So the Eye of Haguth, Paradoxicus, Jitseed, and then pre-made potions. So what he's saying though is that we sort of need to intentionally fail a couple of things in order to intentionally to fail some things in order to succeed. So why don't we just do, okay, cool. Clear. I'm gonna go one of these and one of these. Okay. That's how we make poison. So we make truth potion. Cool. I'm reluctant to use that one. I know we need the base for stuff. I don't want to use the spell because I think it's actually useful for important something, so I know I've got more of it and we'll throw more. But we have at least learned how to make poison and truth potion. Truth potion is probably quite useful. We just haven't had much opportunity to actually do it. Alright. Now, weirdly, it hasn't asked me to identify where we are. Definitely. I do kind of like the fact that it's, there we go. Okay, cool. So, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here. Let's zoom out more. Now, which of these two is the one we're after? Is this just a clock on its own, or are we all just here? This contraption appears to require a key. God damn it. Here's me feeling so good about myself for climbing that. Where's the noise coming from though? Right, let's go here, since it's on the reckon hit the Embryon. Oh, welcome to the Emporium of Oddities. We have spells and equipment for the budding adventurer. You're welcome to peruse the books I have lying around. What have you the Embryons? Ah. Why, yes, I have. She's quite the talk of the town. Many people have seen her striding around in that antique armor. In fact, she came by the shop not too long ago. I tried to determine where she obtained that Embryon equipment of hers, but she was very tight-lipped about it. Where I can find her? Well, I did ask her where she was staying, and I must admit I'm quite nosy like that. And she confessed that the luxuries of the town were not of her liking, though she wouldn't say more on the matter. But after she left, I could see her out of my window, making her way back. She strode into the forest to the west of Hallishire. Of course, with her interest in all things Embryon, I'd wager she's taken an interest in that small ruin in the forest, the one with the old rusty turbine that you can see rising from the trees. Oh, but I really shouldn't be telling you all this, should I? Customer confidentiality and all that. Maybe keep it between us, Tell you more about your shop. After I graduated from the University of Bayonne, I spent a long while traveling the Skyrealms. Much of what I have for sale was accumulated from my travels, and the cipher spells were written by my own hand. I also pay merchants good coin to import the latest treatises and scriptures from Riova, and I invite the townsfolk to browse my selection. Sort of humble library, I suppose. I would like to look at your wares. Okay, so agility is addendum. Gives a massive boost of agility and prevents death from falling. Where was that before? Nevertheless, this must be used with care, for while this spell protects you from great falls, it does not prevent tumbling down to the underlands, a fate often considered worse than death. Dispel removes all summons and status effects from the caster, good and bad. An essential component of any spellcaster's spellbook. Spells can be dangerous as they are potent. Can be as dangerous as they are potent. So the ability to silence all cipher logic could save one's life. We have a bone key. A key made of chiseled down bone. When placed into the air, a very quiet noise can be heard. Seek the swamp, it seems to say. Seek the shell that points to the sky. False monstrance. This perverse tangle of cheap silver wire was formed into the strange rune that fills the enticed with deeper fervor and ferocity for their false cause, driving them to fight with increased attack power. Ring of Stoneskin. This ring increased the wearer's defense. Such protective charms work by hardening the skin of the wearer. Their extended use can stiffen joints in mortal serving cases, or petrification. And we can get a passport, which you already have. So our general value for these has actually gone up, which is good. So we can actually look at just selling these now, but I think we'll hold them for a bit and see if we can get them appreciated in value. Unless we find that house for sale is going to be like 200-300 gold, in which case we're not going to pick that up. But we'll see. The World Rend by Joan Toussaint. 1206. The World Rend. Though it has long passed into a distant memory, is still spoken of in hushed tones by never speakers. For who cannot still dread the cataclysm that leveled our cities, purged our wisdom, and sent us fleeing to the sky? There are none alive who remember stable ground underfoot. Generations have lived and died on these continents adrift. Steered by fickle winds, to look below unto the world's service is to witness a seething hell. You who visit that wasteland return, and those who do are cursed to painful death. And yet, what do we truly know of the World Rend? Rumors, hearsay, legend. It is the most important historical event, yet it remains a mystery. The Embrians, whose civilization reached its peak at the dawn of this terrible new age, stored all their wisdom in magical cipher. Their technology was made inert by the Rend. Everything was lost. We know more about the kings and queens of the Middle Ages, thanks to the humble quills, than we do the Embrians. And so, in this age of ignorance, do I strive to collect what fragments of truth I can glean. My own quill may yet prove a more powerful instrument than a century of Embrian technology. The World Rend occurred in the year 984. That we even still use the old calendar as a miracle of the Kronos Guild. For the slow-turning neuron star of Old Wicker, upon which the clocks of old were set, was destroyed in the event. Most accounts depict the Rend as a mash of magical energy and engulfed the world, searing its surface and destroying every city and every settlement found below. Only those few people survived, outcast and adrift in the islands of the sky. Because the Embrians shunned the instability of flying continents, few of their outposts existed here in a pertinent irony. Those who are outcast from Embrian civilization, the Wiccans and the Endless, to name but two, suddenly outnumbered their old rivals, and thus the last remnants of Embrian civilization were torn apart by the enemies. But from the ashes, new societies emerged. Survivors banded into groups and rebuilt as best they could. Embrian technology proved useless, so a new generation of humanity rekindled old knowledge. Houses were raised of brick and stone. Magic spells were relearned with simple cipher. The Wiccans and their gods found power anew, and their covens were built in every city. Now, as I write from the thriving realm of Bayonne, I cannot help but smile at our accomplishments. But it is a smile tinged with sadness, for we still toil in the shadows of that terrible cataclysm. We still bear the trauma of the World Rend. One more to go. On Wiccan Tyranny by Nelio Conicus, 1436. There was a time before the God War when every human settlement in these Fire Isles was built around a Wiccan coven. From Vena to Slev, they enforced worship, demanding prayer to their gods, and so did those gods grow in power once more under the flag of Wiccan tyranny. That the Apostolic Union succeeded in overthrowing this tyranny and casting down those gods is a miracle worth celebrating. I am old enough to remember Wiccan rule. Every spell, every letter of cipher was controlled by the covens. What magic was permitted changed from realm to realm, as each coven's god had its own fickle whims. Not since the Middle Ages, when gods ruled supreme, has human development been so stunted. And since the Union gained its freedom, look at the advances we have made. Airships soar through the clouds, lowly scribes cast spells of swiftness and strength. Our cities throb with wealth and progress. No longer must we barter with gods for the merest enchantment. Humanity rules its destiny, like the Embrians of the past. And yet, there are those in our midst who would see it all torn down. Outside Union borders, the Wiccans and their gods are more powerful than ever. Their spies and priests still lurk in every corner of the Union. Some even hidden and protected by our own traitorous citizens. And despite these dangers, what do we discuss in our councils? Reform. Softer punishments for god worship. I call this foolishness of the highest regard. Many know of Beatrice Webb. She has made quite a name for herself here in Briova. She attests that our methods are too harsh, that god worship should be punished with a mere fine. and that censure of text should be ended without bringing about a freedom of the quill. I argue that such things would, in no uncertain terms, bring about the destruction of the FSA Union. It is only by hair's breadth that we can stay ahead of our many enemies. The Wiccans would see our realms torn apart, our magical progress abolished, and the rule of gods reinstated. Nay, our punishments are not too harsh, they're too soft. I would see Wiccan sympathizers hung before I bow to another god. I am old enough to remember Wiccan tyranny, and I will die before I see it reinstated. An angry man. But fair. This looks like bureaucracy to me. A clerk's desk is buried under inkpots and parchment. His arms move wildly, grabbing papers and scribbling with his quill. Occasionally, he'll mutter an obscenity, throw a document to the floor, and stamp on it. He notices you approaching. No, no, no! Never. Absolutely not. Excuse me. I know your type. You have a look about you. A look that says, you're a legal nightmare. Maybe your house has drifted into a different principality. Your name contains letters that don't exist, or your doppelganger claims ownership of your cattle. Whatever it is, I don't care. So unless you've come here to purchase that dilapidated old manor house for an outrageous sum of money, please sod off. Tell you about the manor. It's a handsome manor with an entire island as its grounds. An historic property, post-World War, about 200 years old. The island is accessible by a wooden lift in the southern edge of the Hellowshire. I think that's the thing we found before in Sydney Decay. It is in need of a few minor adjustments. With a bit of coin, you could have the whole thing refurbished in no time. Oh, and there's another trifling detail. The land was recently reclaimed by the FSA Union after it was found unoccupied by some local rebel. But some local rebel protested. Some nonsense about the owner being alive. Preposterous, of course. Pay no heed. Clerk's eyes widen as his quill snaps, splattering ink across his desk. Yes, I believe I was saying that we have a luxurious new manor house for sale. It is an entirely reasonable fee. It's yours for mere 200 coins, a steal, really. It's not an outrageous price, I'll give you half. Quite preposterous, this is an historic manor. Older than the mushrooms of these isles. Full price, and not a penny more. Yeah, we'll come back. I'd like a house for 100 bucks. Who are you? Hail, peasant! Are you in need of work? God shells have been found in the region. They contain godlets, dangerous occult specimens. When they're brought to us, all of them. What exactly is a godlet? A godlet is a pathetic remnant of a once terrible entity. A god. If we destroyed many in the god world, they have a tendency to sprout again like weeds. Pockets of Wiccan resistance still linger in Hellowshire, and it seems they're trying to revive the most foul and nefarious deities. Needless to say, there's a threat to the safety of the Aneric Isles and the FSA Union as a whole. It is our duty to eradicate these verminous godlets. We have one. We'll come back to it. This is the Union Polymath. She does not look up from her papers. Ah, another loyal subject of the FSA Union. I must remind you that that impromptu meetings such as these may not exceed 10 ticks of the clock. Are you here to serve the Union? Or is another matter of the sites? Or is this another matter of livestock dispute? Serve the FSA Union. Ah, willing subject of the realm. Excellent. We're hunting a god, and we need all the help we can get. As you no doubt know, Hellowshire is beset with famine. The crop yields are poor, which aggravates a much greater problem, god worship. In their panic, the populace have resorted to illegal prayer. Cultism is rife, and the situation is so dire that an Inquisition division has been dispatched. Their scryers say we're dealing with a Class B god entity. The investigation is focused on the farmland outside of Hallow, but the Inquisition impose epistemic law with a heavy hand. Many god sympathizers have already been put to the gallows, stoking anger. so I'm turning to the populace for support. Even the most lowly of subjects can help uproot this problem. I have but one question. Where is this god? Any assistance will, of course, be rewarded in coin. Where should I look? The Inquisition is making its way through the countryside, searching farmsteads for god sympathizers and hidden covens. I would ask around there and search for anything the Inquisition has missed. But there is also Hallow Castle, where a noble family resides. The old dynasties are still treated with respect in the Union, so the Inquisition is held off for now. But the nobles have ancient ties with gods, so I would eye it with suspicion. Hang on, this famine. Famine is a lesser problem. No doubt it will be solved in a matter of months. We are waiting food imports from London, and I have the utmost faith they will not be delayed again. But the peasants and their impatience have turned to the occult. Such foolishness, they seek to undo all the good the Union has done. Let's see what I can do. Farewell. Mind if I do? Welcome. This room is normally reserved for dignitaries visiting from River, but I understand the Polymeth has made an exception on account of your service to the Upstate Union. The enchanted mask over there will grant a boon to your charm skills, should you require it. You may also help yourself to the amenities, or rest in the bed over there. Just would you please remove your most elegant footwear? We wouldn't want to get mud all over the furnishings now, would we? I suspect I've somewhat sequent progress. I suspect I'm supposed to be getting this as a reward at some point. Whatever. Oh my god. It spins. Why does it do that? Why do you need this? What good does this do? Whatever. Let's see if we can use this. I have gained a temporary buff of charm. Now how can we convince this guy to give us his house for less? Wish to buy the manor house. Hang on. I got the manor. I want to buy the house. Charm. Needed 90. He actually told me what ours is, but I think we can probably make that out. So, it's even buff. Even buff. We've already got 40. It's just the directly right the charm. So basically, we would need 9. We would need 9. 9 charm in order to get what we want, which is not necessarily that ideal. Gee, is that even true? Because this is registering it's been buffed. So I don't know. Well, let's get next level, but like, all supposed to be directly related to the thing as well. Wisdom. I don't know. Right, what is that? Let's drop a cut in here. We still have more to explore. But we now at least have somewhere we can rest. Yes. So I will be back shortly. Thank you for watching.